Again, everybody, this is Comic Book Hangover with another sort of back issue haul video, courtesy mostly of CodyCon2020. It's an online auction that my good friend Cody Lockwood is doing every Friday. I'm going to be putting the link to his Facebook page in the description down below. Go to that on Friday about 7 o'clock, and you'll have about 3 hours, sometimes 3.5 hours of just good comic book auction and banter and just a good time. I mean, it's one of the few times I actually sit on my computer and just watch these videos. And I wound up getting books from him. I've gotten quite a few books from him, so we're going to be going through those. There's some books that I picked up from my local comic shop this past week. I managed to sneak down there to get some books to kind of do my little tiny part in supporting them. And I've also got a graded book that I got in, something from my personal collection that I sent in a little while ago and got graded. I'll be sharing that at the end of the video, so I'm very excited about it. It's nice to have it back. It's one of the more important books in my collection. It's sort of a foundation book of my collection. So without further ado, let's get into the books that I picked up. I'll let you know if I got them from CodyCon2020, if I got them from my local comic shop. Like I said, it's a mixture of stuff. And so let's get to this here. Yeah, make some space over here. Alright, so first up is going to be Star Slayer, #1 from 1982. This is the first appearance of the character Star Slayer. Why did they get it? I kind of like the cover, and it's one of those books that just, I don't know, something about it just said to bid on it, get it in my collection. It is written and drawn by Mike Grell, who I think I have a Marvel book signed by him, but I know he's a name that I think I see pop up from time to time when we used to do these things called comic book conventions, where you could go and you could buy and sell and trade books and even meet the creators. It was a really neat thing we used to do a long time ago, and hopefully we can do that again. But if I ever come and get a chance to get this one signed by Mike Grell, I'm going to, then I'll probably send it in and get it graded. But this is the first appearance and origin of the character Star Slayer, and this actually issue 2 of this series is the first appearance of the Rocketeer. So kind of gives me something else to look for. So that's one that I got from Mr. Lockwood. This is one that I got from my local comic shop. This is the New Warriors, #40. I grabbed it because it was a book that, I didn't own it. It's got Nova on the cover. It's a nice foil cover, and yeah, sure, why not? So back to, actually, let's finish off the ones that I got from my local comic shop. So I also grabbed, it kind of goes in with that Nova book, Avengers, #301 and #302. Now, 301 is the first appearance of the character Supernova, who is the villain in this issue of New Warriors. So it's kind of cool. But it was one of those books that I liked the cover for it. And then when I found out that it was a first appearance, I figured, well, okay, so it's not that expensive of a book. Might as well grab it. And they had the next issue, so I'm going to look for issue 303. Kind of finishes off the storyline, and also has a pretty nice cover for if it's the one I think it is. So those are all the books that I got from a local comic shop. And also, before I continue, I also want to show off my NWA Power t-shirt. Finally got it in. NWA is the National Wrestling Alliance. They have a show, had a show, because of the whole lockdown and the whole corona, the whole CV-19 thing. They don't do their regular tapings anymore, but it's old school. It's studio wrestling. So you've got the announcers, and you've got an interview station rather. There's a ring, and then just a small group of fans there. It's so much fun. They've got a great roster of some very talented individuals over there. I do recommend. Actually, I'll put a link to their YouTube channel in the description down below as well. But yeah, NWA Power. If you're looking for some old school wrestling, some wrestling steeped in heavy tradition, that's where you want to go. Moving on to the comics, I grabbed Excalibur. Now this is The Sword is Drawn. It's a one-shot. This is the first appearance of the Team Excalibur, featuring Nightcrawler, Captain Britain, Lockheed, Kitty Pryde, and Megan, another character called Megan. She seems vaguely familiar. but that's the first gathering of the team Excalibur. This came with this Excalibur #1. This will be the first issue of the first ongoing series featuring the characters and the team Excalibur. It's always been one of my favorite sort of covers, and never really got around to buying it, but Cody had it. Why not? Let's grab it. Grabbed a couple of Uncanny XMens. This one's another 2-pack. This one here I got solely because I like the cover for it. I'm not an X-Men fan, really. I don't go out of my way to collect the X-Men, Uncanny X-Men, or any of that stuff. But if there's a neat cover, I will grab it, and this is definitely one of them. This is Uncanny X-Men #223, featuring Mohawk Storm fighting a giant snake. I mean, I like the colors, the composition. It's just a nice, dynamic, very exciting cover. That came with this one, issue 224. Little long shot action going on there. It's pretty cool. The next one up, got super excited about, and not a Marvel book. It's actually a DC book. It's the Elvira Haunted Holidays Christmas Special. This is a book that I've been on the look for a while. And funny thing is when Cody was getting ready to post this up on his auction, he says, "Here's a very special book," and he said the name Elvira, and it's just as soon as he said Elvira, I started typing that I want this book. I didn't even know what it was, and we finally flipped it over. I sent that and claimed it right away. Superman #377. This one goes along with the Daring New Adventures of Supergirl book that I picked up that was in a previous video, because it has the 16-page preview of Masters of the Universe. So figured why not? It was cheap. Figured I'd grab that. Next up, this is an independent book. I used to see this when I worked at my local comic shop years ago. I would see this one quite a bit. Haven't seen it much lately in recent years. So when he had it up there, I had to go ahead and tell him I wanted it. Zot #1. Now Zot is a creation of Scott McCloud's. And Scott McCloud is known for doing the Understanding Comics book. He also came up with the idea of the 24-hour comic, where a creator has 24 hours to come up with a 24-page comic book. It's kind of cool. He was also very instrumental in the creation of the comic book creator Bill of Rights. So this guy is very prolific. He's done a lot of things. This book here, Zot, was created back in 1988 or 1988, somewhere in there, late 80s. I want to say late 80s. And he created it as sort of a pushback to, at the time, there was a lot of superheroes, Wolverine, Lobo, that sort of stuff, that were very, comics were getting very dark and very edgy. And McCloud created this one as a sort of pushback, and that say, hey, not all comics need to be rough and gritty. Some of them can be fun and kind of campy and goofy. And so he did this one. Good book. I don't know. Figured, why not? I like to have some different stuff in my collection. Back to some more Marvel. The supervillain team-up #13, for no other reason than I liked the cover. And I know it's not perfect. There's a little bit of a muck-up on the cover up there, but overall, that's a very dynamic cover. I love anything from this series. I have the Essentials, so I have read the entire run, and I'm slowly going around trying to get the individual issues for it. So I needed that. Back on Uncanny XMen. I know it's weird. It's like I don't like the X-Men, but yet I've gotten quite a few X-Men issues during this whole lockdown thing. It's kind of bizarre. But this is another one that I had to have. I liked the cover for it. It says Uncanny X-Men #165, and this begins the run of artist Paul Smith, who did the cover for it. And Paul Smith did the series till about, I think it was issue 175. Now he's known for the creation of this version of Storm with the Mohawk. It was issue 173 of his run that he redesigned Storm to wear the black leather and have the punk rock Mohawks. So this is the beginning of that run, and I'm going to look for that issue 173 of Uncanny X-Men, because it'd be kind of cool to have it. That look on Storm has always been one of my favorites. It's a pretty dynamic look. Next up, this was a lot. I got these all for $10. and this is the Disney run first 5 issues of the Roger Rabbit series. Again, something a little unusual for my collection, so I got the first 5 issues. Issue 2, 3, 4, 5. Now this series ran for 18 issues before it ended, and it did a spin-off, Roger Rabbit's Toontown. I may or may not try to get the rest of it, but I'm pretty happy to have the first 5 issues. Again, it's something different to have in my collection. So now going from the fun and frivolous of Roger Rabbit to dark and gritty, because that's what that's what comics are all about, apparently. We got Green Lantern number 43. This is the prologue issue to the Blackest Night event, which DC did a reprint of Blackest Night number 1. I believe it was Blackest Night number 1, and I really enjoyed it. It's the first time I'd ever read it, so I will be going. I do want to get the trades for it, but this one here, I love this cover. This is an amazing cover. I remember seeing it on the shelf, but at the time I was like, I don't really read Green Lantern. It was sort of the beginning of my what do you call it, the event fatigue that I had, and did not want to get into any more events. I got tired of Marvel's events, didn't want to jump into DC, so I passed on it, finally got it. But this is the issue where, what's his name, Black Hand, this guy Black Hand becomes a Black Lantern. The Black Lanterns were basically, they were Death Lanterns, I guess you could call them. They were zombified characters who came back who had the power of the Black Lantern ring. So it's pretty much all I know about it. Again, I do want to get the trade paperbacks for them now, because after reading some of these stories, I really enjoyed it. And finally, for the last individual book, ungraded, that I got this week, again from CodyCon2020, Blackest Night, or I'm sorry, that was Blackest Night. This is Brightest Day number 4. This is the first appearance of the second Aqualad, who is Jackson Hyde. This is his first appearance, but also this is the first cover appearance of this character here, Deathstorm, who is a Black Lantern version of Firestorm, and this character made his first full appearance in Brightest Day number 10. So, not sure if you want to consider this his first appearance or not. I'd say it's first cover appearance, fine, whatever. His first full appearance is in issue 10. Regardless, it makes a nice cover, and that is what I got it for, because I liked the cover. And this was, it's not a regular comic book, there's a trade paperback. I got this from my local comic shop this week. $10. This is Batman, The Long Halloween. It's a story I've never read before. Never really had much interest in it, but hey, you know, when you're not getting new comic books for weeks and weeks to weeks on end, you decide, hey, you know what, maybe it's time to finally start getting into some of those books that I've never read before. Check them out, see what all the excitement is all about. So now, the graded book. This is a book that I bought back in, 1991. It was one of the first non-Marvel books, one of the first true horror comics, and one of the first black and white books I ever bought. I did get it signed by Brian Pulido and Stephen Hughes. This is my original copy of Evil Ernie, Youth Gone Wild, number 1. Sent it in to CBCS, courtesy of Cody Lockwood. Got it back. It came back a couple of days ago. I was able to pick it up today. It is an 8.0. I don't care. I got this one graded because this is, as I said before, this is a foundation book in my collection. This and a Ghost Rider, 1990 Ghost Rider number 1. These are the books that I consider the foundation of all the comic books. These are the ones that are most important to me personally. And since this one is signed by Brian Pulido and the late great Stephen Hughes, I figured I should get it graded, if for nothing more than just to have it protected, have it encapsulated. It also makes it easier to display it. Now, I'm going to be sending, I do have the entire Youth Gone Wild original run. I'm going to show this off for a little bit longer. I do have the original run. I have Tim Visual's signature on one of the covers, and I've got reprints and trade paperbacks, so I've got multiple printings of this story. So I'm going to be sending in the rest of the story to CBCS to get it all graded so it's all unified. But this one, this is exciting for me. This is one of my favorite books, favorite covers. It's one of them, like I said before, it's one of the most important books. It's a foundation book in my collection. This helped me sort of move away and to show me that there is more than just Marvel, more than just DC. And I think it was because of this that I started getting the EC comics, which, by the way, Crypt Keeper pin on my hat. Love it, love it, love it. So yeah. This is not for sale. This is never to go for sale. Chances are I'm going to be buried with this, but that's pretty awesome there. So those are the books that I picked up this week, and yeah, hopefully next week, or not next week, next couple of weeks, we will have new comic books to talk about. It's going to start off kind of light, I imagine. They're not going to flood the market with new books. I'm pretty sure that they're going to just do a couple at a time to kind of get caught up. I'm really looking forward to Batman number 92. That's not going to be out until next month in June, but that'll be the real big kickoff to the Punchline character. Plus, that entire run has been really good. I've been really excited about it. I'm also looking forward to getting back into other books. Something is Killing the Children, Ghost Rider, Thor. Just so many books that I've missed so much. And although I have been missing these getting my regular new books, it has been so much fun doing the back issue stuff. It has been so much fun getting first appearance of New Warriors, the Logan's Run issue 6, the first solo Thanos story. It's been so much fun getting these books and finally adding them to my collection. Some of them are going to get graded and probably sell off or flip or whatever. Who knows? I don't know. I'm going to be sending more books to get graded. I actually have some books that I have sent into CGC that I'll be getting back in a couple of weeks, and I can't wait to share those. But hey, you know what? That's really all I got this week. And again, thanks for watching. I'm going to be putting the description in the description below. I'm going to be putting the links to Cody Lockwood's Facebook page, his personal Facebook page. That's where he does his CodyCon auctions every Friday from 7 o'clock, usually to about 10 o'clock, 10:30. NWA, I'm going to put a link to their YouTube channel in the description below, because if you're an old school wrestling fan, NWA, that's what you need. They've got Thunder Rosa, they've got Eli Drake, they've got Ricky Starks, Trevor Murdoch, and Rock and Roll Express. Some great stuff, great talent. But yeah, I guess that's it. That's all I got. So hey, thanks for watching. If you like what I've shared with you, just please click that like button. Go ahead and subscribe. Add a comment or two down below. Share the video. It's been real fun doing these videos and meeting some of the other people in the YouTube comic book community. Sorry for all the ahs and ums, but hey, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.